I don't really give a damn if people need to work to understand me. I'm not gonna dumb myself down. I'm not gonna make myself smaller, simpler, or more equalized, or a sense of looking the same, so people can recognize me. If they can't recognize my face, my voice, in my movements, and if I was naked or whatever, then I don't care, because then they're just stupid, or they're lacking some kind of recognition ability, which is not my problem. So like branding wise, I believe that, and actually I had this. I worked from a place of this for so many years as a photographer. 15 years of a photographer, where my mantra was that it's your energy speaking. It's not your clothes. It's not the background. It's not any of that. It's your energy. It's your light. It's where you get how connected you are to yourself. That's what people will recognize and come back to. And somehow I lost that because I listened to the external world and the limiting belief of the physicality, and that people are dumb. And maybe we should stop talking to the dumbest people or to the dumbest part in people, and start talking to the wisest part of them, that they're knowing. So even though they're asleep, they're not awake, they're behind, they're unsuccessful, they're whatever, they have greatness in them. So why don't we talk to that part? Talk to the intelligence that are in their soul, and trust that they will recognize, even though your hair color changes every day. And what I learned is that I used to change and show change in my appearance a lot, because that was my way of transforming my stuckness in life. And that was the remedy that I had accessible at the time. Until I met someone who, I didn't know that then, I thought that they were right. But really what they were wounded. And they wanted me to not change my external look so much, to not change my appearance so much all the time. And they would judge me if I did it. And not overtly, like they didn't do it. It doesn't matter how they did it. I felt it. And my mistake was believing that they were right, which later on showed itself to be true, is that they were wounded. So people, they were wounded by change. They felt like change would go internalized in them and not stay on the outside. So they would feel like I would change inside of them and not outside of them. And so they wanted me to stop changing, so they would stop hurting. And this is very, very typical aspect of what happens in wounded people's lives. They try to control their way out of the wounding by changing other people, by limiting other people's movement and change and energy and excitement and soul, basically, their spirit. And that's how we just run around killing each other's spirits. We need to stop that. We need to take responsibility for each of our wounding and figure that shit out by ourselves or with a therapist or however we want to do it. But we need to stop blaming other people and making them change because we're wounded. Because what happened is I listened to her, and mistakenly doing that, the reason I know why she was wounded, why I ended up knowing that, and why I ended up realizing I had made a mistake believing her, is that she eventually inflicted that wound onto me. So I felt like everybody was changing inside of my head and inside of my body. And and I couldn't keep people's change outside and understand that it was outside of me. And once I understood that that was the case in her wounding case, I could come back to myself and my own truth that I was actually already in before I let somebody else have the truth. Or before I assigned the truth to being something that they had, or she had, or he had, and I did this like so many years in my younger life. Everybody had the truth except myself, I thought, which was just a big mistake. Big mistake. It was. I was in my power so early in life, and I really want to encourage you to look at yourself and your and everybody else, and find that feel what it is that makes you special in the best ways, that makes you different in the best ways. Not different and you don't really function and you have ADHD and you have all kinds of diagnoses. Don't find identity in disease. Don't find identity in disease. I've tried to find myself through becoming like other people. Because if they did it that way, it must mean it works, that must mean that's a way in life to succeed. But what I somehow neglected to believe or to remember along that way is that nothing trumps your unique ability to be yourself and your ability to, or your signature energy. Self is the greatest power there is. And having the courage to allow yourself to be yourself means that you allow yourself to be different. And when you allow yourself to be different, it doesn't mean that you don't have a place to fit in or that you have to stay out, like you're not an extraterrestrial because you don't fit in. That's not what uniqueness has to do. It just means you're unique and within a community where you fit, where everybody feels like they can allow themselves to be unique. And you can find a common ground both in that but also in interests and stuff like that. Similar missions, similar purpose. There's so much to be common, find common ground and interest about. At the same time as as you and me and everybody else, maintaining that sense of individuality and freedom of expression as that individual. So I encourage you to embrace your unique self and in the best ways that you are different in life, and to walk forward and be in the present moment, all at the same time, with that in you and with that as an expression of you.